saw me. I just bought a bus. What's up, y'all? My name is Izzy and welcome to my Skoolie conversion series. This series will basically document me converting my Skoolie from start to finish. And today's video topic is about picking up my bus, well, buying my bus, picking up my bus, and just bringing it home and make sure everything's good. So let's get into a little bit of that background part. I'd originally planned to buy a bus. Like, I found the bus and I was like, oh my gosh, this bus is perfect. It wasn't too long of a bus. It had a handicap door in the back and it just really, like, I was like, yeah, that's nice. And so I have a very strict budget and I knew that in order to stick to that, I couldn't pay more than like $1,700 for the bus. And so when I sat down to bid, the 30 minutes before the bid time was over with, it was already over, like, at and over my budget. And so that was kind of disappointing. Like, I just knew I couldn't bid. I just couldn't do it. And so it kind of made me sad to watch these people, like, hack at it. And I think the bus ended up going for almost $3,000. Yeah, so that was kind of disappointing. But that was in December. I got kind of depressed and, like, there were no school buses on the market for a while. But then, come around January, yes, end of January, this bus came up for market. I was trying not to get my hopes up about it because, like, I knew it could fall through, like, really easily, like the last time. But I was hoping that the diesel pushers on that had been listed would kind of distract some of the people from it. And so I had my eye on it for quite a while, and I knew when it was coming up for auction. I think, or like the end of the auction date was like February 2nd or February 1st. It was like right at the beginning of February. And so I had my sights set on it. I was putting my schedule around it. Trying to figure out how much I could pay for it because the buyer's premium was like 12.5%, which is quite high, especially for the auction site I was on. Most of the time it's like 5%. And so I'd detailed out the exact amount that I was going to pay for it, and the max amount I could pay for it that would come out at like $1,700. Waiting on this to get done while I'm trying to do my work because I need to, like, get on the ball this week. It's been so, like, it's like an adrenaline rush. Like, I'm just ready for it to be bid time so I can put in my maximum bid and just see what happens. And then the day that it was going off auction, they literally posted at 1 o'clock. The auction ended at 6:30. They posted at 1 o'clock that it was going to be that it is manual transmission bus. And so that freaked me out for a bit because I haven't ever really drove a manual vehicle, and that was going to be a big hurdle if I was going to end up buying this bus. And so I called my papa back and I was talking to him and I was like, I just want you to give me, like, the pros and cons. And so I convinced myself, just not convinced myself, but I really just kind of decided that this was probably the bus for me. It was the right size. The manual, I decided, wasn't that big of a issue, wasn't a big component of it. And more importantly, it was the right price. The beginning clip that you guys saw was basically my reaction once I sunk the deal on the bus. So I was sitting there and then I kept refreshing it because on the GovDeals auction site, like, it doesn't have a countdown timer like on eBay, so you have to keep refreshing the page. And so I kept refreshing it, and the person that was bidding against me would always bid when it was down to like a minute or 30 seconds. And so I was like, oh, he's gonna do it again. And every time they do that, it, like, bumps the time up by, like, I think 2.5 to 3 minutes. So I kept thinking, okay, he's gonna do it again. And then it was a minute, and then it was 30 seconds, and then it was 20, and 15, and 10, and then finally the auction closed, and it was my bus. And I freaked out. I just, like, my brother was sitting beside me refreshing the screen too, and I just, like, cupped my hand over my mouth, like, and it was, like, so, like, outside, and the first person that I told was my mom, because I wanted her to know that I had got it. And then, of course, my papa was watching from his house on the internet and saw, and I was in disbelief because the auction was still, like, closing out, but I knew, like, I was the last bid, and it hadn't showed that I was the winning bid, but, like, I was the last bid. Whew, it was, like, such an exhilarating, like, experience. But then, sadly, I had to wait, like, an entire week before I could go pick it up. Gosh, walking in to get the bus. Okay, so you probably can't hear me at all, but we are on our way home. I'm in the back because I have to get online and do class, and I'm trying to get away from the engine. Hi, Connor. He's staring at me. My brother's staring at me. My dad is, like, right back here following us. So that's great. Have a wonderful driver up front. My gracious grandfather coming along for this journey. I owe a lot of thanks to him now, I guess. Oh gosh. A little bumpy, but I gotta get on class, so I'll see y'all in the next update. My head feels like jello right now. I'm so tired. It's not funny. But I thought I'd hop on to give a little bit of an update. This is kind of like the after the fact. I've got home in bed next day. I didn't get to film a lot yesterday because there were people there and I just wanted to be courteous, and plus I was wearing a mask, couldn't really hear me, the bus was going, the engine's loud, you can't really hear anything without, you know, microphones and such, which I did not have with me at the time. But when I got there yesterday, it was really exciting because one of the mechanics that actually pulled the bus out for us, because it was behind a couple other buses, said that I had got one of the best buses on the lot that they were selling, and that even though, you know, it was an older one, he thought it was a really good bus. So that really made me feel a lot better, and just to know, like my papa had even said before, like as much as I paid for the bus, like even if something went terribly wrong, I could part out the bus and make my money back. And even if I decided against it, I know there are people who would buy the bus, probably even could make money off of what I paid for the bus. That's a lot of a spiel. I just came on here to talk, I guess, because I know everyone else is so sick of hearing about it. I've been talking about it for forever. I even started planning out plans for this exact bus before I liquefied, like, the bed, like, before I solidified the bid. Before I solidified the bid, before I won the auction. I don't know why I was trying to be all fancy there. It's just real simple. I won the auction. Before I even won the auction, I was already planning out this bus. Well, mostly because, like, I wanted to know if it would work. Like, I didn't want it to be one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, that's a nice size bus, I'll just get it and then wing it, because I wing a lot of things. I don't know if this will be the end of this video or not, but I'll hop back on to kind of summarize things, I guess, before the end, so just get to it. That's the way I want to go. Cool. So that about sums it up for the story, so thank you guys for sticking around and listening to me rumble and mumble and go on. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next week's video where we'll be focusing on gutting the seats out, and then the next week should be floors and ceilings, or floors and walls, and then the next week ceilings, because ceilings is probably going to be a huge project. That's a lot of screws, and I don't think they're going to come out easily.